only missing shoulder. That's it.
And, could everybody just say your name and your title?
Lynn Westad, Chairman of the Beaverhead Board of Trustees.
John Barrows on the Museum Board of Trustees.
And you're the newspaper guy too, aren't you?
Newspaper guy.
All right.
Lyle Decken, the director of the museum here.
And everybody knows these two guys. We are very excited because we are at the Visitor Center here at Dillon, Montana, and the dugout built by Lee Guthrie and Lee Gilbert from St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota, is going to be on display here at the, this is the Interpretive Center at, this is Camp Fortunate's Interpretive Center here in Dillon, Montana, and you can see a really nice building. And a new building as it houses the Chamber of Commerce as well, and we'd encourage folks to stop by here, and we're going to get some shots in the museum in just a little while. And as you're traveling the trail, don't forget to stop by here in Dillon. Excellent. See the boat. Can you tell us your name?
Carly Anderson.
And you're with the Chamber of Commerce, right?
Yes, I'm the executive director.
And what's the website for the Chamber?
Beaverheadchamber.org.
And that's good. Can they link through to the museum and everything that way?
I believe so. I'm not sure. You can link through ours to the museum.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you, and we appreciate so much the opportunity to house the dugout here.
Thank you.
Where's the Bacawea? We don't have a woman on the expedition. We'll find one over there and we're always seeking.
Today is the 10th of June, time's passing. It's the 10th of August today, and we've just dropped off our dugout canoe at the Beaverhead County, well actually at the Chamber of Commerce here in Dillon, Montana. We're now at the Beaverhead County Museum, and we're having an opportunity to take a look at what I think is probably the most spectacular diorama depicting the expedition anywhere on the trail. And we're at the Beaverhead County Museum in Dillon, and we're visiting today with John. Hi, John.
Hi.
And would you tell us again your name and your role here with the museum?
John Barrows. I'm a member of the museum board. The Beaverhead County Museum, also run the local paper, and was involved when this was originally brought in.
Okay, would you tell us a little bit about what it is we're taking a look at first?
Well, what you're basically taking a look at is Clark and Lewis splitting up. You can see the Beaver's Head rock in the background on the mural on the back. Now, this is not part of the original mural. When it was originally done, it was actually more of the appearance of rattlesnake cliffs. And when it was moved to Dillon, the backdrop was in pieces and missing parts in horrible shape. And so we had one of our local artists, Dr. Knorr, do the artwork on the repair and refurbishing of the mural.
And tell us a little bit now, it was built originally in, what, 1957?
The mural was built in the 1950s, was one time for many years staffed in the Montana State Historical Museum complex. It was one of several big murals there. And somewhere in the 80s, they changed the theme and took this mural out. It was cut up with chainsaws into a number of pieces, 8 or 9 pieces, was taken up to Great Falls, and there it sat for a number of years in the basement of the Charlie Russell Museum.
Sitting at the Charlie Russell, which was a repository of a tremendous amount of beautiful things. We saw some great dioramas that were at the High Plains Heritage Center as well that had originally come from there.
This was the kind of the case there, and they were trying to have someone in St. Louis take it, or the option was, and what they were rapidly coming to, they needed the space, and we're talking about dumping it. Several of the people here heard about that, contacted them. That weekend we rented a U-Haul and up we went.
I'd be in trouble if I was a salt block and they can't use my Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, how long are you on the trail?
The whole way. We'll be done September 23rd of next year when we get back to St. Louis.
You stay with us the whole time? Oh,
Yes. Well, with Debbie Love to be able to stay the winter in Oregon, but they didn't let me stay at Fort Mandan last winter, and I got the crew wrench and the thing, so I had to go back to Denver and make more money.
You guys are not looking this week.
Very interesting and unique piece of artwork here, and an important one as well, that tells a truer story, sometimes a story that often is overlooked. You can see the beer can holder that's affecting the animal there, the bird, and all of the pollution, and it's a sad but true part of the story of the trail. Here, this it's all garnet sand, crushed garnet, and we're at a ruby garnet mine and production facility here, and we're talking to these fellows about some horses. And you can see the mountains there in the background from where this garnet comes.
Well, it's just like a little sand and gravel operation. We run it through a 3/16 screen, and then over 2 more high-intensity magnets. Then we bring that down here, and we just plant the wash it, clean it, pull the more silica out, and then our finished product comes out.
What do you use it for primarily?
Our target is water jet cutting. They use it in they use a corundum nozzle, and they shoot it with 50,000 psi water, and they inject garnet into it, and they cut aluminum, stainless steel, anything you can imagine. Glass, a lot of your glass in your trucks and stuff are all cut with water jet.
Is this the same sort of stuff that's used in sandpaper?
Yeah, they use it in sandpaper too. This is just a little more technical. I mean, you know, the largest particle in our 80 production is like 11 thousandths of an inch. So it's pretty tight particle separation.
Hey, can you tell us your name again, sir?
John Hill.
And this is a ruby garnet operation.
Ruby garnet.
Great, thanks. This is some.
Picking up with the garnet.
Yeah,
This is some materials that's found here at the ruby garnet operation. Do you have that obsidian? Can we take a look at that? This was a piece of obsidian that was found here today, and John, you said you thought that most of the obsidian was not from this area originally. That's what.
I was under the impression that the Indians actually packed it in from around West Yellowstone.
And what are we looking at there? Oh, that's more of the same stuff.
Right.
And you've never seen that?
We just dug it up there was a pocket. Big vein of it running up.
Yep. One on the ridge. Look at that depression on the far hillside. Yeah. If I can get a good shot of these hills over here. This red butte over here. Very far. It's very ahead of us. Come on around. Oh yeah. The roads are torn up pretty well here right now. There's been some complaints on the part of some people in Idaho that Montanans are trying to keep people from passing over into their state for tourism dollars or something to that effect. I'm undoubtedly paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it. And you can see the roads are pretty goofed up here. But interestingly enough, right before we get to the road that goes to Lemhi Pass, it's paved again. It's an effort evidently to make the place more accessible. It's going to be subsequent to the Bicentennial, that's certain. And here we are about to, August 12th. We're about to cross Lemhi Pass. And this is the route up to Lemhi. And we've stopped at a little cow camp here. You can see the collapsed building. And we're a couple of miles from the pass. And we'll be making our ascent this morning. There is the east in Montana. And we'll be going over this hill, and that will lead us up and over to Lemhi. We're by the Double Bar T Ranch here, above it, and it's down there in the valley. And we'll be making our ascent of Lemhi in just a little while. 12 August 2005, we are ascending Lemhi Pass, and here we are at what is essentially the uppermost course of anyway, here we are again. It is the 12th of August 2005, and you know these guys here, Dave and Jay and Church, myself, and we are the four men ascending Lemhi Pass with the dog today, as was done 200 years ago, and that's where we're going, right up there. And when we get to the other side, we're in for quite a surprise.
Does that mean I'm Private Clark again?
And here we are, Private McNeil striding the mighty Missouri River, Shields and Drouillard standing by, and Seaman. And our final ascent here. Goodbye, Montana. Hello, Idaho. Whew.
All these things. And as the Americans arrived, we started thinking that way. We started thinking of greed. No offense to you guys, so your ancestry. You know, that way it was greed, manifest destiny. All these things. Territories. You know, at one time we was like the wolf. We knew how we respected our territories. And then we knew, hey, we'll respect that. We'll use it, but we won't conquer it. But then when the ethnocentric views came, we seen all that. We started getting that way. Today it's that way. The Americans were smart. They knew how to divide and conquer from way back. They used Indians against Indians. That's how we was defeated in our wars. Indian allies helping from Boise Valley all the way across. Indian allies helping from back east. The Iroquois Nation helping against all the other tribes. The Cherokees and that. But all these things. And today we're still representing this flag. We have warriors in, in Iraq and Afghanistan to this day right now. And we honor our veterans. Our veterans, we fought in every war. In every war, we helped Lewis and Clark back then, helping the mountain men. The mountain men knew of our trading network, and they traded in Fort Boise for Lemhi.
My mother, Camille Neville George, and my aunt, Lois Tyler Neville. These people are raised here in Idaho, and we felt it was important to be here to do this blessing ceremony. This area is very important to us. This is our beloved homeland. This is part of us, our heart, our Tabiwa.
Brown.
What they just came up, it just seems like it is pretty much identical on the way back down. I mean, they should expect to find a pretty good river here pretty shortly.
And they do. It's just a little more convoluted than been planned. This is it. We're in Idaho. We've crossed Lemhi. We've taken lunch in a grove of woods, and the dogs cooled off in the creek, and we're headed down to the Lemhi River, down toward Tendoy. Bison, how do you like the waters of the Columbia? Welcome to Idaho.
It's funny, he's following it down right away.
This is again the 12th of August, and we've crossed Lemhi, and we've really just come into Idaho, as it were, and we're just noting how remarkable our arrival has been met with by butterflies of all sorts, and we're going to try and document a few of the different species that are here. Okay, we're at Tindoy Store in Tindoy, Idaho. We just came down off the east side of the Lemhi Pass. And could you tell us your name?
I am Viola Angela.
And you've run this store for quite a long time, haven't you?
57 years.
57 years. And I remember about 2 years ago coming in here and meeting you and getting my picture taken with you. You get your picture taken with quite a few people up here, don't you?
Well, I appreciate every bit of it.
All right.
It was wonderful to be able to go up there today.
Well, great. You've been the host to a lot of people crossing this pass for probably as long as anybody else ever has in the whole history of humankind. So you've sort of been the native guide to a lot of people. So we're happy to be here and happy to visit with you today.
Well, I love the people, and I thank you for coming. And it's just great to have you.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Good luck to you.
Here we go. Here we go. How about this, huh? We're looking for horses. This is all part of looking for horses. It is the 12th of August, and trying to get a clutch fixed here in Salmon, Idaho. It is the 12th of August, and we have arrived. There you can see basically what we carried. And we have arrived at our camp for the 12th of August. The natives have erected a lodge for us, and we are here on a little island and in Salmon, Idaho, on the Salmon River, and you can see quite literally where we are. And this is the back of some private property here. We are in town, essentially, right in the middle of this current village here, and this is our campsite for tonight, the 12th of August, and we'll be here for a couple of days getting things arranged for the horses.
Morning to an elk. Elk in camp. This elk wandered into our camp, I believe right across the road. There he is. What a beauty. What a beauty. He's about 30 feet from me right now. What a fabulous animal. Good morning. Look at him. What a beauty. See if he goes back to you. Standing still. He knows I'm here. I'm just gonna let him keep eating. Watch how he blends right in the main scenery. You wouldn't even see him. Look there. Beautiful rack. Maybe a little better shot there. There you go. I think he sees you now. Good morning. Today is the 16th of August, and we're actually visiting with Fred Snook, attorney at law, former judge here in Salmon, and he's showing us a picture, a family picture there. His family is you all were about the first folks around here, weren't you?
Yeah.
First white folks, anyhow.
Yeah, just 1866, just 2 to 3 months after the gold was discovered in Leesburg.
And so there's a picture, and this is what was this picture?
This is right at the end of 1890s, picture of the old-time bridge across the Salmon River.
Right, and you can see from those hills right there, we were just talking about the fact there are more trees in the Salmon area now than there were then, and as we come back and look up there, and you can see salmon over there in that area that was all sagebrush, now pretty densely wooded, and there's the ridge line there that we see from the old photograph. So that's pretty neat, and Fred's going to ride with us tomorrow across Lemhi.
Right, and I don't know if your zoom in will show in the trees, you can see the light shining on a tall structure. That's our Brooklyn School. That right in there, straight across in that clump of trees.
The white roof line?
That's a 3-story building. The Brooklyn School built in 1911. I'm named Brooklyn because of Brooklyn, New York, how the town's across the bridge.
Oh, right. So
it's across this bridge, and it would be right up here in this picture.
Okay.
And that.
Now, what do you know, Fred, about? Can you tell us a little something about the area that used to be the little Indian camp up here?
Certainly, it's just right here at Kids Creek Pond.
It's real close to town, but yet it feels like you're out.
We're viewing it. It's just where this clump of trees is,
we don't realize how
Kids Creek Pond,
salmon until
and that was the Indian camp.
The going part's coming back.
This ranch house, this building here, was the ranch house, and the ranch went all the way to that.
Now, what was that was last occupied by Native Americans as late as when? Not very long ago.
Up till about 1990, and had a cluster of small buildings there right against, there's 2 little creeks called Kids Creek, and they're warm, they never freeze. And when I was a boy in the 50s and 60s, we had numerous families of the Shoshone Lemhi band lived there. And at that point, there were a lot of Native Americans in our school system, and then finally that last group all moved to Fort Hall, realistically about the early 1980s, but they would come back throughout the year, especially in the summers, until into the 1990s, and then Fish and Game came up with the plan, and it wasn't being used, and so they converted it into this Kids Creek pond that's, a real, has been very successful.
Now, didn't someone, what's the story, there was a congressman or someone, or someone who did something do the Indians have actually some claim to a little piece of land over there now, or something like that?
Howard Sims, that owned these structures and owned all the land between here and there, the Indians were his friends, and he had just let them live there. They never had title to that land.
So that was
So Sims was our state senator from Lemhi County, was killed in a plane crash in the late 1960s, and his son, Sandy Sims, sold that to the Fish and Game to make it the park.
But that is sort of a place now that the Indians kind of come back to as sort of, I know we've been over there and they sort of recognize it as sort of...
That's where they, and obviously they owned it for hundreds of years before we went into the patent system.
But I guess that's sort of the last place that they lived right here. Very good. Well, thank you, Fred, and we'll look forward to tomorrow. Fred's going to join us as we go across the pass tomorrow. Seems like your family's one of the first ones here, and so you get maybe a chance to...
My great-granddad came over Lemhi Pass in September of 1866.
All right, so tomorrow will be a double reenactment. We'll be doing Lewis and Clark, and you'll be doing Grandpa. Can you tell me what you're doing while you're doing it?
This is called pouncing, and I'm sanding the long hairs off to get down to the finish that I want.
And you say that's 50% beaver?
This one is, yes. In my shop, this is a 10X quality, which is 50% pure beaver. Other half rattler hair.
Yeah.
Get those long guard hairs off. As you get down to the fine hair, it makes the felt.
That's what it's all about. This is the end product for the whole fur trade, really, wasn't it?
Back a long time ago, they used to shave it off, but now when they're shaving it off the pelt. And when you pounce it in a counterclockwise direction.
So is that just because of the manufacturer, that's the grain of it, as it were?
Most all hats are laid down that way.
Okay.
Pounce them in a counterclockwise direction. But for sure, the rule is always in the same direction.
Now, this is just a blank you're starting with?
No, a blank is entirely different. This is a raw body.
What's it called?
A raw body.
A raw body?
It's 2 stages away from being one big sheet of felt.
Okay.
Start with 400 grit sandpaper and then drop to 600 grit sandpaper.
And where are these destined for?
Various folks. This one stays here in Salmon. The rest of them
with
the country.
They're all customs?
Yes. California, Virginia, Nevada, Pennsylvania.
Terrific. Today is August 16th, and like our predecessors, we are in Salmon, Idaho, in the land of the Shoshone, and we also are getting horses here. And this area here is a turnout lot, and our friend Ward, who we'll be hearing a little bit more about, raises these paint horses, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about the process. He's sort of perfected the process of breeding what are known as the medicine hats. There you see one of those right there. He's noticed the markings just around the ears and the top of the head. These horses play a very important part in the Indian community and the Native American community. These horses have special significance and are much prized by the Native American community. And here you see, again, there's a medicine hat colt. So we're seeing very much the type of horses that Meriwether Lewis would have been looking for 200 years ago, and they're very similar to what we're going to be getting here. And we'll be showing you more footage over the next few days as we move horses across Lemhi Pass from Montana back to here at Salmon, Idaho. As you can see, the smoke is still very thick in the valley here. The fires continue to burn, and we'll ultimately be headed up that way into what is now covered by smoke, but we'll be doing that by horse. Hopefully the smoke will clear over the next few days, and over the next week or so we'll be able to bring you some terrific footage of the North Fork of the Salmon River.
It is the morning of the 17th of August 2005, and we are with Fred Snook and Lori here, and we're making our way over Lemhi Pass. And there you can see ahead of us is Lemhi Pass, and we'll be making our way across the pass in just a little bit. Of course, Bison in the lead there, and from here we'll make our way down to Tendoy area, above Tendoy, following the trail that Lewis and Clark took after they brought the baggage and the main party across. And we will make our way towards Salmon over the next couple of days, and be there with the local population, participate in some of the Sacagawea activities on the 19th and 20th, and then prepare for our ascent of the Salmon River Valley. That's probably a little bit unsteady, but as you can tell, you're on horseback with us as we approach the Lemhi Pass. And here we are, essentially at the headwaters of the Missouri River, trying to prove an old adage true that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And there's a lady there who's pregnant, and she's kind of being a little horsey. And we're headed right over there to Lemhi Pass. And here we are, moving up toward Lemhi Pass, and there's the old road here. McNeil strode across the mighty Missouri, as he says, as Lewis records that McNeil said that. We did that the other day, and on the 12th when we crossed by here, and there's Lemhi Pass right ahead of us. And this is the way that Lewis and Clark crossed the Continental Divide here and made their way into the land of the Shoshone Indian, traditional homeland of the Shoshone. And we're excited to be here and be guests of the Shoshone people and the people who call this valley home today. When we cross over there, we'll be in Idaho. Today is the 17th of August, and we are at the Lemhi Pass. And just like 200 years ago, we were led here by the horsemen from the other side. We were brought over, got our horses to bring the main party back, and here are all the natives who have come to welcome us to the Salmon side. So Idahoans, yep. And here we are, ascending the Lemhi Pass. See quite a few people up here today to enjoy the beauty of the scenery and to observe the Bicentennial. Good girl, lady. Good girl. Vehicle.
Noon on the 17th.
And here we are, there's Montana, and there's Idaho.
You're on the right train, like they're not native. Okay.
We'll get Scott up here. Take a group picture.
That's the way by water to the Gulf of Mexico, and that'll take you to the Pacific Ocean. Here we are descending on the Idaho side. As you can see, the trail is just that, a trail. And it is marked, and you see the National Park Service markings on there for the trail. Actually, the U.S. Forest Service, I guess, at this point. National Historic Trail. And we are on it, and you are on it with us today, the 17th of August, 2005. And here we are ascending the steep hills that Lewis talks about on August 12th. And of course, this would have been their second time over. They would have been familiar with this pass already. Up, 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 up. And you are here with us on the Lewis and Clark Trail.
Power poles cross way in the far distance, and that's. See, and there's snow peaks, and you'll hear those inclines have snow, like just like Lewis and Clark said they did.
Doing okay, Clark?
Yep. Wish she didn't have such a mind of her own. And here's we're passing through this area here. You'll see folks down there mending a fence. Here's this back country here. Oh. Abandoned mine hazard. Here we are at Patee Creek, and you can see the water is clear, and we are gradually coming into more water. The amount of water, the springs above here, and the other creeks that are feeding into this are starting to generate a pretty good stream. And this would have been what Lewis and Clark would have wanted to follow as they made their way down in search of navigable waters.
He goes outside Scotty's house and burns himself.